There we go.
Today we're traveling directly from Azores into the heart of Canada, to the city of Calgary in the province of Alberta. Known as the gateway to the Canadian Rockies, Calgary is where the spirit of the Old West still resides strong. Once a frontier town built by ranchers and cowboys, today it's a vibrant mix of tradition and modern life, where skyscrapers rise over the rodeo grounds and cowboy hats meet the city lights. But our journey does not stop here. From Calgary, we'll adventure deep into the Rockies, exploring the rugged beauty of Canmore, Banff, and the mountain passes that lead us all the way to Invermere and the soothing waters of Radium Hot Springs. This is where nature raw power meets breathtaking scenery, a road that winds through peaks, valleys, and stories carved by time. And now, if you're ready, let's start this adventure. Yeehaw! Calgary was the first place I lived in Canada. I came here in 2009 and I landed in Calgary. First I lived in the outskirts of the city, but as an Azorean I always wanted to live in downtown, you know, because it was so unreal for me. I grew up in a 5,000 people island and all of a sudden I'm here in Calgary, almost 2 million people, scrolling around these big buildings that are bigger than the highest mountain in my island, right? So for me it was an adaptation and at the same time a great adventure. Today I just feel that I can fit in and that I'm a little bit of a city person now. Over the years I just adapted and got used to it. But in the end of the day, I'm still an islander, I'm still from the ocean, and when I look up to these buildings, they still look like space shuttles to me. Yeehaw! The Peace Bridge is one of Calgary's most iconic landmarks, a striking red bridge by the architect Santiago Calatrava that gracefully spans the Bow River. More than just a crossing, it's a symbol of connection, blending modern design with the city's natural beauty. Just a short walk away, Princess Island Park offers a peaceful escape in the heart of downtown. Surrounded by the Bow River, it's where locals and visitors come to relax, picnic, and enjoy Calgary's balance between urban life and nature. Yeah, here we are, Princess Island Park. Right at the Bow River that crosses Calgary. This is where people hang out on the weekends, where they come after a day of work to relax and enjoy a little bit of peace and nature. You have a contrast between what was nature one day and the big city on the other side. Of course, if you really want, you can always jump in your car and drive about an hour and go to the mountains where you got beautiful national parks full of trees and wildlife, all sorts of nature, rivers, pristine waters, and waterfalls. I just got here and I can really feel the good vibes of the city, the people of Calgary in this park. I can imagine that during the summertime, thousands of people here gathering, enjoying concerts and all sorts of activities. Princess Island Park has been part of Calgary's story since the early 1900s, when the lumberman Peter Anthony Prince founded the Eau Claire lumber mill, created the island using sawdust and river sediment from his operations. Over time, the site was transformed from an industrial area into one of the city's most beloved green spaces. Today, it stands as a symbol of Calgary's growth and renewal, hosting festivals, concerts, and quiet walks along the Bow River, right in the heart of downtown Calgary. As I leave the calm Princess Island Park and I start heading into downtown, I begin to notice these bridges connecting one building to another. At first, they just look like normal walkways. But as I get closer, I realize that there are a lot of them. I feel like once you step into one, you're entering a different part of this city, almost like a path floating above the streets. These bridges are part of Calgary's Plus 15 system, a big network of indoor walkways built above the ground so people can move around downtown without dealing with the cold weather of the harsh winters in Calgary. The idea started back in 1960, and over the years, it grew into a long, well-connected route that links offices, malls, food courts, and different buildings all across the core of downtown. If you look it up, the city has maps and guides that show every connection, which make it easier to understand how the whole thing works. If you can follow the paths, see where each walkway leads, and move around downtown without even stepping outside of a building. For me, it really shows how organized and practical Calgary is. They built a whole second level of the city just to make life easier. I could spend hours exploring Calgary and showing how amazing this city is, for being one of the cleanest in the world to having one of the best qualities of life you can find anywhere. But now it's time to head out into the mountains to dive into the heart of the Canadian Rockies. So grab your seat because we're hitting the road. So we head out of Calgary and start driving west, about 80 to 90 kilometers until we reach the Kananaskis Provincial Park. After entering the park, we follow the highway towards Canmore, passing through some of the most beautiful mountain scenery in Alberta. Along the way, we stop at the Lac des Arcs viewpoint, where we get our first real look at the wildlife of the Rocky Mountains. It's the perfect warm-up before we continue to drive towards Canmore. But before we proceed to Canmore, I want to talk about a particularity of this place that many people miss on their way through. Right in front of us, there's a cement industry, and this factory has a story. If you look closely on the map, you will see a small town here called Exshaw. Exshaw, Alberta began in the early 1900s as a company town founded by Sir Sandford Fleming and named the town after his son-in-law. His name, E. William Exshaw. The town grew around industrial operations, especially the large cement plant that became its main purpose and still plays a big role today. It's a tiny place and easy to overlook when you're driving by, but it carries a long industrial history, and it's right here, tucked in this edge, hiding out in the Canadian Rockies. Well, here we are now, downtown of Canmore. Good time. It's a nice little town, the first town between Calgary and Banff. It's a town that is out of the national park, so it has more potential for expansion, and it keeps expanding. The real estate keeps chewing away the trees, the beautiful trees of the mountains. And that's why, because it's not a national park around here, so they keep building. But it has this mountain town vibe. It's very picturesque. You can find all the restaurants here, and beautiful downtown here. Up there they have the Three Sisters. They are those three peaks that are iconic here in Canmore, and it's really a good place to hang out. For a weekend trip from Calgary, just jump in your car and you're 1 hour away, and you can come here and spend some good time in the mountains, or even get ready before you go to a ski session in Mont Louise or Sunshine Village. Just stop here, get some food, and then head to the slopes. Being here in a small town of Canmore, surrounded by mountains, makes me think and makes me feel relaxed. It's something I wasn't expecting, because I grew up surrounded by ocean, and I'm not used to these big mountains. But when I look around, I start thinking about the people that live here. How amazing must be to wake up every day in this beautiful nature. I also think about the First Nations who lived here in this valley for a long time before even this town existed, especially the Stoney Nakota people who have deep roots in this land. And it makes me think about the past of this town, the old mining days, the hard work of the people who moved here, the simple life that built this place, and how different it is today. Canmore started as a small railway and mining town in the late 1800s. Before that, indigenous people lived and traveled through this beautiful valley for thousands of years. When the Canadian Pacific Railway arrived, the town began to grow. Coal mining became the heart of Canmore. The first mine opened in 1887, and for almost 100 years, the whole town lived around that industry. But when the mines closed in 1979, Canmore had to find a new path. Everything changed in the 1980s, especially after the 1988 Olympic Games came to the area. Canmore turned into a mountain destination known for hiking, skiing, and outdoor life. Today, it's a lively town where the old mining history meets the modern tourism and adventure lifestyle. Real pointy stuff. Tusks from deers. Are those tusks or horns? Antlers. Okay, you got this. When coming from Calgary, Canmore is the gateway to the Rockies. If you step away to the trails and hikes around the city, you'll start to see more wildlife. If you're lucky, you can see a bull elk with their big antlers walking calmly through the open fields. Or you can just be surprised by a full herd of elks just crossing the town and grazing on people's yards. Along the rivers, beavers are always busy swimming back and forth with pieces of wood carefully picked from the local area, building and repairing the dams, shaping the landscape around them with every piece they place. And if you look up and carefully observe, out there in the middle of nowhere, higher up in the mountains, goats stand on steep rocks with no fear, just climbing step by step like it's the easiest thing to do in the world. You can also observe bighorn sheep, a majestic mammal that lives naturally in the Rockies, moving confidently across the cliffs and slopes where a few other animals can go, sometimes finding a viewpoint and standing majestically observing the valley. Deeper in the forest, bears move quietly between the trees looking for berries or food. Mule deer walk slowly to the grass and always alert to what's surrounding them. Coyotes cross open spaces with their alert, careful steps. You might also see some marmots sitting on big rocks enjoying the sun, or a moose standing in the wetlands, tall and relaxed. And above all this, many different kinds of birds fly across the sky, calling and moving around the valleys. Here, everything feels alive. And here is where the Rockies truly began. As we drive through Banff, notice these special bridges. They aren't for cars or people, they're for wildlife. Overpasses and underpasses that let animals move freely between the parks, just like they always have, keeping ecosystems whole and cutting down on roadkill. These crossings are part of a long-term effort in Banff. These dozens of structures and many kilometers of fencing were built with this sole purpose, and they helped reduce wildlife vehicle collisions dramatically here in the Rockies. And the animals, they had another shot on life, another chance to survive and thrive here in the Rockies.
Hello, how's it going? Just one.
Visiting for the day?
Yes, just for the day, yeah.
Perfect. That'll be $11, please.
Thank you.
Did you want a visitor guide?
Yes, please.
Pass is valid till tomorrow, 4 p.m.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
As we leave Canmore and enter Banff, you really see how the Rockies work as one connected system. Canmore is a getaway, and the wildlife we talked about doesn't stay in just one place. They move naturally between these parks like they always have. Banff links to Jasper, Yoho to Kootenay, and even Kananaskis, creating a huge protected corridor across the mountains. Animals don't see the borders, but the protection lets them travel. Like that, they feed and live across the entire Rockies. Banff National Park is very special. That's because it was Canada's first national park, established in 1985, covering an area of 6,641 kilometers square. The town of Banff sits at about 1,383 meters of elevation. The climate here varies a lot. Winters are long and snowy, while summers are cool and moderate, with an average July height of 22 degrees in the valleys. Much of the park's terrain ranges from mountainy valleys up through alpine peaks, including glaciers and ice fields. Banff is part of the Canadian Rocky Mountain Parks of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. It was recognized in 1984. Now let's move in the town of Banff and see what it has to offer. I'm splitting this video in 2 episodes, so if you're enjoying it, please subscribe and comment to let me know if I'm heading in the right direction with my content. For now, thank you for watching.